Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Harrell. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor, and I'm here to share with you some ways to remain positive and to take care of your mental wellness and your family during these challenging times. So sometimes adversity can be challenging, obviously, and frustrating, but the great thing is it also gives us an opportunity to build what I like to call our resiliency muscles. So just like exercise and working out, the more that we have to walk through challenges, it gives us an opportunity to build resiliency. And what does that mean? It means our ability to come back, our ability to recover. And the way that we come through a situation is entirely dependent upon how we view that situation. So the more negatively we view a situation, the more difficult it is going to be for us to come to the other side of this situation. And also the more mental health impacts we're going to have in that situation. So today I want to share with you some ways that we can remain positive. So first and foremost, the number one rule here is we need to limit the amount of time that we are consuming news and social media. Anxiety feeds off of fear. And so the more that we throw into our brain, the more we actually are creating increased anxiety by consuming so much of our media. We certainly need to stay informed. That's very important. So I would suggest that you have one local, one state, and one national outlet that you are reliable sources for your media that you get that from. Of course, if you like social media, you enjoy that, but we need to limit the amount of time that we're spending on that because unfortunately a lot of negative and non-truths are out there that are feeding to the anxiety and fear. Our next thing is very important. All of our routines have been disrupted and our body runs on routine. So it's very important that as quickly as possible in the new normal that you have, that you begin to have some type of routine. Possibly if you're working from home, that's getting up at the same time every day, trying to establish some type of rhythm in work. I know many of you are challenged with children in that space as well. The best that you can, trying to make some type of routine for everyone. Trying to eat healthy. We've all heard our jokes about our quarantine snacks, but, really trying to do our best to stay on regularly scheduled meals and increasing our nutrition. And getting outside, getting fresh air in the proper way that we can within the guidelines that we're currently living in. These things are very important because we also want to keep our immune system healthy. Stress will negate the immune system, and we need to keep our immune system at top running order right now. So, I want to talk a little bit about a zebra because what we really want to do is we want to be practicing something during this time called mindfulness. And mindfulness is all about living in the present. Now, you may think you're living in the present because everything else has come to a grinding halt and this is all you're focusing on. But mindfulness is a bit more than that. It's about living into what we can control and what we have to learn to accept in our environment. So I bring up my friend Mr. Zebra here because zebras are intriguing animals in this sense. Zebras only become concerned and alarmed when biologically their system gets tripped into what we know as fight or flight. So that for them would generally be their nemesis, Mr. Lion, who comes into their territory and begins to hunt them for their next meal. In that instance, of course, the zebra's biological systems are going to get all fired up and he's going to take off and he's going to run and he's going to try to get away and he's going to hide and do whatever he needs to do to protect himself. But once the threat is over, here's the thing about Mr. Zebra. He just goes right back doing that right there. He's not worried about where Mr. Lion is. He's not worried that he might be around the corner because he doesn't remember. His brain is not designed to remember. He runs strictly off of the biological feed when he senses what's going on around. So the problem for us in this situation is we're keeping ourselves in the urgency. And we have to allow our bodies to come off of that urgency and to get into a calmer position where we can get into a daily routine that we do not allow ourselves to stay in that. So that's with our mindfulness. And a part of that is what can you do just today in this moment? We really don't know what tomorrow might look like or the next day or the next day. And worrying about those things and worrying about how you'll do this is really not going to be helpful. Absolutely. There are many out there that have serious, legitimate concerns and stresses that are real things. But no matter the situation, we have to say, what can I rein in today? What can I do in this moment that actually allows me to do this? So I brought a couple of visuals for you today to help you see how quickly negative thinking can spiral out of control and how unproductive actually our worries are as we process these things. So I show my age with the barrel of monkeys because some of my younger counterparts may not know what they are unless they saw them in maybe Toy Story. But with the monkeys, what I do, I'll use an example that I use with teenagers when they come in my office about their schoolwork. So let's say they're initializing, or what we call the first thought, the automatic thought. They failed a test. So maybe they were taking a biology class and they fail a biology test. Well, then the next thought that they think is, oh dear, I'm going to fail the whole class. And then the next thought is, I'm going to fail my grade. And then the next thought is, I won't graduate from high school. I'm getting tricky on here, Mr. Monkey. So as you can see, we can quickly get this going. Now we haven't graduated from high school. I'll never be able to get a job. Yeah. And then I will be a failure. My parents will hate me. And I will be homeless. So we made a bad grade on a biology test, which was the initial thought at the top here, right? And by 2 minutes later, we were homeless. You know, quite a stretch of the negative thinking chain there. So if we want to get a hold of negative thoughts, we have to start with the initializing thought. And when you start with that initializing thought, look how much more free you became of all the monkeys that were running around in your mind at that point. So by taking that initializing thought, and this particular student, a way to reframe that might be, yes, I didn't do as well as I would like to do. I'm going to try harder on my next test. So that's how quickly the monkeys can get out of control. A lot of us right now are doing something that in psychology we call looping. So we have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thoughts that we're worried about, or 5 worries that are just constantly we're worrying about. So what happens is those thoughts, instead of just linking together like the monkeys, comes around and connects all together and makes what we call a thought loop. So it's like a record that never stops playing. Worry about that, worry 2, worry 3, worry 4, worry 5, worry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's the 5 same things, but it just keeps going round and round and round and round. So the only way to break that cycle of worry is to break these worries apart into the original things that are the stressors, worry 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and say, okay, what can I do about this worry? Maybe there is something you can take action about today. Then do it. Maybe these 4 worries, there's nothing that you could do that would change the outcome. And for those worries, you have to decide, I'm going to put those down today because I can't do anything about it. Otherwise, you keep the loop and the cycle that keeps on going around and around. Another way to combat negative thinking and to stay positive in this time is to keep a gratitude journal. And by this, you can just list and write down the things that you're grateful for and you're thankful for. And they can be everything from clean running water to relationships that are positive, to pets, anything that you have that brings joy to your life. And it's not about the length of the gratitude. It's about just the process of showing that gratitude. There's so much research out there showing that when we focus on the positive, the things that are going well, we increase the neurochemicals that also make us feel less anxious and actually increase our sense of contentment and well-being. So lots of good things with gratitude journaling. And if you are that person that at the end of this, I still will never convince you not to worry because you are a professional worry person and no one can take that away from you, then you know what? I say go ahead and worry. But here's how you're going to worry. You need to assign your worry a special time every day. So maybe your worry time is every day at 6 p.m., okay? For 5 minutes every day, you get to worry. Straight up, no one's going to tell you you can't worry. Get your worry chair, get in your special worry place, and I want you just to worry about everything in the world that could possibly go wrong. Set a timer on your phone, and when your 5 minutes is up, gotta stop. And a couple hours later, when you're doing something and those worries try to loop and they come back, you say, oh, nope, it's not 6 o'clock. Can't do that again until 6 o'clock tomorrow night. And so give that a try. It sounds really silly, but I promise it is very effective. And also, I'll be interested if you can actually worry for 5 straight minutes, because think about it, if you only have 5 looping thoughts, by the time you get through those 5, maybe 15 seconds will have passed. So as you can see, it feels like you have all these worries, and some are legit, but probably more than likely it's the same ones that are just kind of tripping you up over and over again. So during this time, we really want to take good care of ourselves, especially taking good care of our physical health and our mental well-being. Hopefully a lot of those things will help you to remain more positive during this time, to build your resiliency muscles, and to just stay as upbeat as we can as we all face these challenges together.